Two stories, two questions for you today. First story has to do with our church that I'm a part of. Our church specifically in children's ministries, has volunteer challenges. I don't know if you can relate with that, volunteer challenges. Well, these particular volunteer challenges have a solution, and this is the solution that we've been facing or that we've been using, and that is that the children's ministry leader or Ryan steps in and plugs the hole, whether it's teaching, whether it's showing up to run an event, you name it. So recently we've set some boundaries and we said, you know what? We can't have people expecting Ryan to jump in and just teach when they can't show up. We've got to do something different. So we set those boundaries, those expectations. And what's happened is with that boundary, it doesn't mean that I've never taught since we've set these boundaries, or that people don't jump in to plug those holes, but our teams have gotten stronger. The individuals who have said they would commit to teaching and volunteering have actually stepped up, and those teams have gotten stronger because we set this boundary. So that's a boundary that was set, and the benefits or the consequences of that. Second story I have for you today is found in 2 Kings chapter 4. And my niece and nephew were being read the story by my sister, and inspired in me a different perspective on boundaries. And this perspective you can find as you read about the Shunammite woman and how she opened her boundaries up for Elisha to come into her home and to receive a meal. And then in verse 10, you see her talking to her husband, saying, please, let us make a small room, upper room on the wall, and let us put a bed in there, and a chair, and a table, and a lampstand. She was expanding her boundaries from what her and her husband had comfortably had, and said, you know what, let's expand our boundaries and invite Elisha, this prophet, into our home. Now, there were consequences for her doing that. If you don't remember what those consequences are, I would encourage you to go back to 2 Kings chapter 4 and find out what the consequences of her expanding her boundaries were. So the two questions I have for you today. What do your boundaries look like presently? Think about that. Number two is, what is God calling you to do with your boundaries? To expand them, like the Shunammite? To do what I've been doing in my context? I pray that God leads you in adjusting your boundaries for the consequences that He has for you. God bless.